hi, it's Monday. I was like, we should just keep going and get a whole fucking bunch done because it feels like every week someone's home. I can't. This is crazy. This has been the most sick year we've ever had.
I totally agree. And when I look at my teenage years and my like junior
Never.
school, I just never missed school. I one day for barfing, never had like, don't remember having a cold, don't remember any of it, never like missed days of school
Sorry,
ever.
an ulcer on her eye. That was wild.
It's really hard to have forest for the trees, to have foresight, to have foreskin, to have like to look back. So these years that we have our kids home are so short, but when you're in them, you can't realize it. Like the fact that if Taylor were to go away to school, she's going to be gone in a year and a half.
By the way,
Yeah.
Mark,
Yeah.
my husband,
Yeah.
was leaving this summer if he was Olivia. Gone.
Yeah.
Gone. From home forever.
But even earlier than
Olivia,
no,
she's in grade 10.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Gone.
Yeah, I know.
Gone.
Right.
Gone.
Never moved home again.
Nope. Gone.
Yeah.
Gone right now.
Yeah.
I was like, this. Had a deep breath. He's like, he turned 16 in July.
Yeah.
Gone in September.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, this. Oh my God.
I know.
That is crazy.
So, but these years, they feel like, it's like you can't even think about it because, TJ's only in grade 5, but I had a friend and she was just talking about how many years, like when you look at your grand scale of life, that we think about our, our mumming years as so long, but when it's over, we're still going to be
Moms. Young. I don't ever seen this.
And so much life left.
Okay, so 2 things. Number 1, I was walking with a friend, and she's going to listen to this, and she told me there's this new parenting, and it's called lighthouse parenting. So you're in a lighthouse.
I love this. Yes.
Okay, right? And
is it shining because it's a lighthouse?
No, you aren't intervening, but you might point them in the right direction with the light, but they might bump into a wall.
So the lighthouse is from a distance because helicopters are close.
Yeah, helicopters
Lighthouse
closer.
is a distance, but you're still watching. Okay.
You're still watching, and they might bump things, they might crash things, but you're just sort of pointing them in the direction.
Okay.
Go north.
Okay.
North could be very far and long. Okay.
Yep.
So she was like, I'm lighthouse parenting now, which means I'm available to offer advice if it's wanted or to steer in a direction, but I'm not
doing things for you.
I'm not going to be, I'm not going to parent like you're this age. I'm going to parent you like a lighthouse.
Yeah.
Because I think what's happening, it's interesting because our talk on cell phones triggers a lot of people in different ways, and now parents are beginning to feel guilty about getting their kids cell phones because of what we've created in society about the demonization of cell phones. And a lot of people are having to be like, oh God, I got my kid one because I'm divorced or I'm a single working mom.
Oh my gosh. So much guilt associated to phones and screen time for kids.
And then people up in our DMs getting mad at us for not taking a stance and being like, we're going to hold off. And I'm like, I won't. I said, I've come to the conclusion and I'm making a new parenting genre. It's called middle of the road parenting. And, with no lines. And sometimes, when you're on like the back roads and like you don't know, you go in the middle of the road because you don't know, you can't go too close to the other side. And sometimes you have to move over and sometimes you go to the other side. And I was like, really, we are middle of the road parents who don't have a strong opinion one way or the other on really big topics.
I think sometimes middle of the road means not as good as, but what we're saying is we're
riding the line. It's like we're
riding the zipper.
We're riding we ride the line because it's like, I understand your perspective and I see where the problems are, but I understand the pros and I see where that perspective is. So you and me are like, we want to parent through both sides rather than being like, we are this or we are this. I'm going to make you aware of the problems, but we're going to work through because I believe this to be something. We take no hard lines in anything.
No.
So it's like, we're going to be like this. We're going to be like,
because I really think that we've got here through experience, and we've got here because we have learned that you have to be open-minded because things change with kids all the time.
Kids change.
There's always a new, I just saw a stat, or they just did
the article on
what's that word?
Oh, a study.
Yeah, they just did studies.
Oh, no, cell phones are great for somebody now.
There's always going to be another study. So to take a hard line and say I am this way or this way is just not. It's we have too much experience to know that if you do that, you're then when you change your mind or you go a different way, you're going to beat yourself up again about it.
See, I think some people are one-way roads. I really do think, and that's great for them. I don't judge you for that. Like, if that's the way you are, life will take you where it needs to go. If you are like a one-way roader, they'll just be they've probably been one-wayers their whole entire life. And they're never not going to be a one-wayer, but you still have room in my life. Like, you can be a one-wayer. Your kids can go to fucking Ivy League and be on every team and be superstars. And I will applaud you all the way. That's not what my dreams are for my kids, but achievement isn't mine. But if that's yours, fucking go crazy, girl. I think that where the problems come in is when you are mad at other people's way of parenting because you think it's wrong. And I'm like, I think you're making the decision for your family. That's great for you. But I am not subscribing to what you can't be disappointed in what I'm doing for my family. And if I'm going to talk about the way I'm doing it, that's my prerogative. I'm not subscribing to what you're telling me, but go crazy, babe. Two things. All of our kids have cell phones. We have 16-year-olds and we have 9-year-olds. All of them. Okay. So hate us, love us, whatever. Fucking all of them have cell phones. Second thing is all of them use them differently. We have different screen time rules. We have different, times. All of my kids have different screen time rules. We have different ways that we let them use them, not use them. So there's no, like, spoiler alert, we are pro cell phones. Our kids all have computers. My daughter needed a computer for grade 4. If you think the cell phone is going to stop the things you think, hopefully that's true for you. I hope that's true for you. But if they have access to technology, I will want to know what the hell is going for me. So I'm going to help educate parents on what is out there so you can make your own decision, but at least it's educated.
Because in reality, too, the country that we live in and the school systems we have, you have to work within that. Like, if you're like, I'm not... And again, you can do whatever you want to do, but like, it would be really hard to take a stance. And I know that everyone's, if you want to make a change, you have to do something, but like, it'd be really hard to swim against the current every day and trying to like tow your kids along with you. There might be a country where that's easier to do, but that's so much extra work. And for like, in the end, it's going to be like, was it worth it?
Well, I think we've done. As I'm like reading, and I am not like a researcher. I'm not an expert, but like from my own personal opinion, we are terrible at reading big picture. We want to read something on Instagram that's like a stat, and then be like,
that's it.
This is terrible for all of mankind. And I think we've lost, when I hear conversations, we've lost the ability, like, we think anxiousness and cell phones, if we take away cell phones, anxiousness is going to go away. I don't believe that. I believe that there's triggers in your kid's life, but if your kid is running anxious, getting a cell phone, if your kid is totally stable and involved and has friends, very few are going to get a cell phone and not be that same person. Very few. The balance is we've demonized certain things and made moms and parents, again, the problem, and pitted each other against each other, being like, angry over not taking a stance of saying no. And I'm like, we've done it again.
Because this is what we've been talking about since we had little kids. Moms like making each other feel guilty for different decisions. And when our kids were really young, we started to realize that all these we can all be friends, we can all live in the same like community, and we can do things different. And it's not your place, like you said, to judge other people, but like coming together as a community and saying, you can do it differently, this is how I do it, and share each other's experiences can open your mind. And I think it took like being a mom for a few years to to realize that, because we carry enough guilt every single day for the things that we might do wrong or how our kids might end up, but to have other moms doing it to each other, if
We've done it again.
If anybody is grasping what we're doing when we're talking about cell phones and trying to provide education that has worked for us, if anyone's taken that as trying to guilt people for anything, you've
missed the plot. You actually shouldn't even be on the page.
You missed the plot. And also, if you know the two of us, you know how we are. Like when our kids were younger and people used to say, what's one piece of advice that you would, give new parents? And I remember we were like, we don't sweat the small stuff. And that's sort of like taking the middle of the road. Like, worry about what really matters to you, and then don't worry about the things that don't really matter to you, and find somewhere in between where you can feel good in parenting and being a mom.
Whatever that looks like.
Whatever it looks like.
And don't project it onto other people. Because when you project it onto other people, you actually you're probably judging your kids' friends who have it. You're probably judging the parents who have it. And there was a few people in our DMs who were like, I'm so glad you said this. I don't judge me, but my kids have a cell phone because they go to their dads and they're divorced, and it's the only way. And I was like, guys,
you do not need an excuse.
There was a time where in 2020, they would get in trouble if they weren't on their devices for school. Like, what are we doing to each other and to them? Like, where's anxiety coming from? Fucking us. Like, if I'm to be totally honest, the fact that we just all want to stand on a box and yell at each other about what we're doing right and wrong. And I'm like, if we could all just realize there's different ways to do things, and none of what we say is you should do this or you should do that.
And we've never, like, as people, as women, as moms, as like friends, we've never been the kind of people who are like, our platform's never been to take a stance one way or the other. It's just to share our experience. Also, that's all it's ever been.
Yeah. And guess what we used to do? They used to say working moms, kids who went to daycare were better off. Then they said kids who stayed home with their parents are actually better off. Then like you said, there will be new information every other day, and you will find what you want to read to justify what you think works for you.
Or to find the thing that makes you feel bad.
At the end of the day, you are doing the best you freaking can, and you have to do what works for you. And listen, if you have a kid who gets a cell phone and it changes their personality and they decide to go meet up with people and strangers and they're not responsible enough, take the fucking thing away. Yes. I'm not saying if you have a kid who's irresponsible, give them a phone. No. Yeah. If you think your kid can't handle it and it's going to cause anxiety, don't give it to them. Like, it's called parenting with a brain. Like, it's called, what's it called? Like,
intuitive.
Not even intuitive. Right. Basic parenting. Like, if you know a toddler is going to touch a hot stove, you put gates up, or they can't walk the stairs, you put gates up because you know they don't know how to do the stairs. That's all parenting is like, if you know your kid can't do that, just because your kid's doing it and I know my kid can't, I'm not going to, you shouldn't do that. That's like when kids learn to walk, and you actually should put up all the gates because my kid can't walk. So do that.
And never forget a time when you were a parent and somebody did that to you. You shouldn't do that. You shouldn't have done that. Sometimes it can be like a mother-in-law. Sometimes it can be someone at Starbucks. And you remember what that made you feel like. Don't do that to anybody.
I don't think people know. I think they just get so upset that you're not doing it their way. And how dare you? I think the bigger problem with cell phones right now is the way parents are acting around them, and how it's like we've made them terrible. Like, everyone who has one is fucking ew, rather than.
I remember when they did that to us with some video game.
Roblox?
No.
GTHL?
No. Isn't that hockey?
Oh, sorry. No. Grand Theft Auto.
But no, but it was back when the kids were younger, and you heard that somebody was letting their kid be on that video game.
Grand Theft Auto.
No, not that one. That one is bad.
Oh. Like where they all dance.
Yeah, maybe.
Not
Yes. And it was like, oh my gosh,
where they do
so
like
bad.
Concerts.
Yes.
Oh God,
and then I remember being like, oh my, like immediately I was like, oh, our kids shouldn't be on that, or like, oh, Fortnite. And then there's one of those times, and I remember hearing that like one of my kids' friends' moms lets him on that, and I was like,
You can't go play there. No, I'm joking.
I remember thinking, I don't expect that from her. I'm like, maybe I should, is this really as big of a deal? Or is this something I should actually, instead of just hearing that like trigger, be scared, don't do it, or like actually look into it?
It's like we've lost our minds.
Mm-hmm.
It's literally like we've,
Well,
and listen, I think there's great information. And I think that it is important to know. I think it's important to understand the full, like, listen, we made a guide for a reason because you and I were like so lost in, we made this before this topic was even a hot topic because we're like, hey, you know what? We can do better. And so we're trying to do better.
And if we can do better, then why would we not share with you guys?
Well, yeah, because, and even yesterday, I wanted to add to the guide, like rules that so for cell phones or like online, just online, not even, cell phones, just like if your child has an Apple ID, and I don't know how Android works, but it's connected to iPads, like they can basically do everything on a cell phone anywhere on technology, right? Like you can go on the internet and you can get Snapchat, you can do anything. So I wanted a one pager on that you could print and like put on the fridge of like, don't do this online. Like just be aware that these are the rules. So I was like trying to go and see everybody's rules. I could not find one place
that had it really,
and that even had good like the rules were like, make sure you you leave your phone out of your bedroom. Like no, I'm talking like, you know, I wrote them. Oh, I don't have my phone, but I'll try to, they're in the guide. Sarah was like, we need to add this immediately, and I was like, okay, but one of them is, you know, I basically was like, you know how much you show me of people's messages? Assume everything you write is being shown to a friend or a parent. Like, assume. And, you know, like, look at, I actually wrote, you know how much you show me and your friends, ... It works both ways, Toots. I say Toots, but that, and the other one was, if you don't want to be on a billboard, like, if you don't want that to be on a billboard, then don't put it in a text. Assume everything you text is going to go in Times Square. Yeah. Just assume it, because it did actually happen to us with our kids in the mall. Yeah. We took a picture and it ended up in a billboard. Yeah. I was like, so just assume that. Yeah. I said, the other thing is that bullying goes both ways. So you might get bullied, but also there's no humor on text messages. You cannot say I was just joking. They can't get the tone or the sass. So if you're going to write something and someone's going to take it the wrong way, there's no backtracking. Yeah. So
and you can say that's not how I meant it. It doesn't matter.
It's in text. Yeah. So be aware that what you write has no tone. So you're screwed that way too. Also, I love the one where the sheriff told us. I was like, oh, but Snapchat disappears. She's like, oh, not for law enforcement. Yeah. I was like, so you're disappearing? No, nothing disappears. When I told my kids that, they're like, what? I'm like, law enforcement can find all of it. They were shocked. And I was like, oh yeah, there's no disappearing. So I just wanted those rules where they could see hard facts of actually online. And like, if you're looking for a job to babysit, everyone's going to scroll your Instagram, your Snap, this is your resume. So watch what you post. Oh my gosh,
I remember. I know, isn't that funny? Because you think about the things they post. I remember when I
was going to say, you know, when we did the fucking visa application for the girl, they asked for every social media handle on your government visa application. Yeah. That's how serious this is.
Oh yeah. Well, because also if there's like hate and all that, it would be easy to find if you're public.
But it's now a mandate.
I remember when my siblings were all graduating from university and they were all like getting ready to apply for jobs. And I remember our like stepdad sitting everyone down and saying, you need to go through all of your social, like, don't just think that it's for your personal, because if it's for public, it's for everyone's consumption.
And the internet, when you have pictures of that other people put and tagged you, that comes up on your Google search.
I know.
That's the next lesson. I need to sit them all down, Google yourselves, and see what comes up and where it is. Yeah, because they're in all of their socials. Yeah, go on that page. Yeah. So I'm like, oh, but you would never think that as a 15-year-old kid. That picture might not be even attached to your account that disappears. Yeah. So I wanted that on a fridge, like a poster you could print. Yeah. And then you could see it, like real hard facts of life that no one is ever going to tell you. You're going to learn. Let's hope you don't have to learn them. Here they are,
the
baby.
Hard way. Let's hope you're not going to have to learn the hard way. Another thing with phones is I was watching You Know Me, and I love my Datelines. This one girl went missing. Yes. And the the family was so savvy that they like could beat law enforcement because they, you
like
know,
this is real story.
Yeah, like law enforcement, they have so many things to do, right? And they have to really do everything proper because if you do it wrong, then you can't use it in court and all this. This family knew the Apple ID and how to find the thing, and they were able to track down so much from her.
They
her
knew
phone.
her Apple ID, so they could get into their back end.
They could get into it because she was still under a certain age. So it was the aunt was like, she's under this age, you're under the family plan, go. And I think they had to they were able to go and like change her phone number and then able to go and get into everything. And it was because of the cell phone, they were able to locate her, like where she had disappeared to within the same day. The crazy thing is police wouldn't let them in the apartment to find the things because they didn't have a
warrant.
Yeah. Not luckily, but she wasn't like being held in because of that time she died. She already was dead. But you know, a lot of families, they just really want to find out what happened. And they were, through their own technology, because they were savvy, were able to figure it out so fast. And I always say, you know, they say the first 48, this is another thing with cell phones. And I know that people say, oh, watches. Yeah. Well, no, people are going to take their watches off and leave them all the time. Like I say to my son, why don't you wear your Apple Watch? And then, you know, it would be easier to track. He's playing sports. He's taking off his watch. You're leaving behind. You can't wear them. They're always on and off. But they're going to have their phone. They're not going to their phone's going to be with them. And this is just the scare tactic. But like, if you're not found within the first 48, the chance of you being found are not very good. And if you have a cell phone on you, your chances of being found are so much right. All the datelines are technology. Like back in the day, we had such a problem. Now it's amazing.
Also, we have a printable. They have to put all their passwords down for each thing. That's in the guide too.
Yeah, that's great.
I've got to print that. I need them all to fill that out because
it's very true.
My kids also lock themselves out. And but if they also think that you know the passwords, they're less likely. They're like, oh shit, my mom has my password. Like now she can go through and see the things.
Yeah, and passwords are also so important. Like we were like that one kid that bought the fentanyl through Snapchat, and at the time the mom wasn't able to get into the locked phone unless she had a death certificate.
I know.
I think maybe hopefully that law has been changed. I think that's what she was really pushing for, because that drug dealer was out there selling it to more kids that could be dying when she could be identifying who he was faster.
I know. It's I think it's a lot of fear around cell phones because parents don't know them. Like kids are intuitively native to them. Like 2-year-olds can figure out iPads faster than a lot of adults. They are intuitive devices if you know how to use them. And do I think that 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8-year-olds should be on an iPad for 12 hours? Like, absolutely not. Do I think they should be watching TV for 12 hours? Absolutely not. Do I think that there's things they shouldn't be on when they're very young? Absolutely. Do I think there's a time and a place for these things? Fuck yes. I think though that we have to get better at deciphering for what, for who, and for your own family. And I think that's exactly how we start the guide off. Like, this is your own personal decision. And you know what? It's actually good information for you baseline, because if you don't know these things, I remember people when TikTok first came out and everyone's like, I don't even know how to open TikTok. Like, I don't even know what this is. And it became such a massive business tool for so many people that for you to put your head in the sand and pretend that it's just a kid's thing when companies are making massive amounts of money on it for like promotions. I mean, as someone who wants to stay relevant, sorry, not stay relevant, for someone who, if you are interested in what people are doing in the world, you kind of age yourself out when you're like, that's for kids. You are someone who thinks Elvis is too sexual because he shook his hips and that he should be banned. Like, it's the same mentality of you thinking that this is too sexual because wasn't Elvis banned in so many places because he shook his hips?
Honestly, it's a lot of things, but the movie Elvis, I watched it. I loved it because I had no idea what Elvis stood for. I thought he was just a guy. Like, I thought that was the problem. I thought that it was simply that. But oh my gosh.
Did you watch the Priscilla?
I think I did.
I feel like someone told me it was a very different story.
But Elvis, what was so interesting about it was how he was such a relevant part of history.
Yes.
And I didn't realize all the things that he stood for and would not back down for. He was he's actually very political, but in such a great way. I I don't think most people know that about Elvis.
Okay, I know that we're talking parenting right now, but this is like a very interesting one from a parent's perspective is Justin Bieber and how I don't know if this is a conspiracy theory, but they're basically saying how he's posting weird things on his Instagram that's alluding to he was sex trafficked when he was younger. Now, he was found on YouTube, right? But he was sort of in the prime of the digital world. His life wasn't totally online. It was in paparazzi because he was still young enough to not be online. But it's like he is going back to his childhood, bringing everything forward.
His posts are question, like what is going. Everyone's like, what's going on?
So he had this one. It's a terrible story, but Dexter shows. I guess someone was found in a container. It was child trafficking, and then he has a picture of him as a kid in the same container, like alluding to this happened to him. Everyone's like, and the one song is about that being abused,
and also
abused.
There's definitely like a connection with Puff Daddy, right?
They're saying because he was a mentor.
Yeah.
So was he part of those? Was he taken advantage of with those parties? I don't know what is going on, but
probably he was very young and he was at the parties.
But
where was Ursher and Scooter for all this?
In terms of the photos and like on cameras, did they not have those at those parties? Like, is there not evidence everywhere?
I apparently not.
No.
It might have been one of those parties where you have to drop them at the door.
There's still people who take
things. I know.
But was it not the cell phone era?
Right.
Like, I don't know. I have to deep dive into that because I think also I'm going back to the list.
I think it was when there were cell phones still.
Because there'd be so much footage of him in those parties. I have to dive deeper because that's what's blowing my mind right now is there's not more cell phone footage of those. Because there are a few live streams that you catch some of the people.
They might have been really like you have to leave your phone at the door. Like, you know, when you go to Drake's house.
You have to
leave it.
Because what was I going to say? Oh, with all the footage when he would have been so young.
I know.
Like, how did that not get out? How did he not say more? Was someone in control of his phone? I'm sort of like obsessed with this right now because I'm watching.
I feel like Scooter Braun would know the most.
Well, he's busy doing an AI company and just raised something like $50 million bajillion for a new company and had to leave the whole music industry for whatever he's done badly. That's a whole nother, he kind of fell off the face of the earth. But, I know what I was going to say. With all the cell phones and what people don't tell you is that, you know, like they're like, don't film things. Well, guess what? Someone's always filming you. If you want to know, go to a hockey rink and watch all the fights that happen. And then they put them online of the fights happening of adults fighting at hockey rinks. I'm like, I don't think kids realize that just because they're not filming doesn't mean someone's not filming what they're doing because there are well, we know there's cameras everywhere.
Yeah, and people's initial reaction when anything's happening is to pull out a phone.
It's fucking wild.
Yeah,
it's wild.
I was just watching like I guess there must have been American news, and some protesters were in some court, and it was just on the TV when I was leaving this morning, and like the cops have to taser the protesters in the room, and I guess the judge or whoever's like, this is a peaceful place, and you watch all the like, it looks like lawyers or whatever, they're all saying, everyone whips out their phone.
That was what's weird about the Masters. There was no phones allowed. No one was allowed. There was pay phones apparently on the course, but when you look at the pictures, not one person has a phone. They're all watching and you'll see like hundreds of people just sitting there watching with no phone. And it's so weird because when you see other things, it's like you're watching the show through everyone's phone. It's kind of weird. It was kind of cool they did that.
It's like, and you know, when I was at a bar recently and I saw there was a woman there and she was alone and she was having a glass of wine by herself and she never took out her phone. And it was to like see it felt so weird to see that a woman could sit there for an hour.
Yeah.
And she wasn't reading and she wasn't talking. And I know that she had her phone.
Was she older?
She was our age.
Because I saw a man in New York by himself, and I'm sure he went to that restaurant all the time when I was with my girls and my mom, and they had like his meal, and he just sat there and ate and had nothing, but he was a lot older, and he just sat there and he had his like
Yeah,
They
no,
knew,
she
they
was
knew his
like,
meal.
she definitely has a phone. Like,
It wasn't a habit for him. It wasn't a distraction. He knew how to just sit there and eat his meal by himself.
And it looks foreign.
It does look weird.
It looks foreign when people aren't, like, when they're in public and they're not on their phones, or they're, you know,
what are you doing?
yeah, especially if they're alone.
Yeah, by himself. Just sat there thinking about his food. I don't know.
This woman was our age and there was no food.
Meditating?
No.
Eye on the prize. Natalie thinks she wanted to eat the bartender.
I really wanted to see if she left with him. Sugar baby.
She was just available every time he was going to say, like, every time he had a moment, she was available. She did not want to think that he was not available.
It was so good.
Was it so good?
Going out and people watching is like really.
That's why I'm surprised you danced and you couldn't.
I got too swept up in myself, I guess.
In the mirror, watching yourself dance.
Yeah.
Shit, this is amazing.
Yeah.
Look at me.
I know. It was such a good time.
You were such a great time.
And I loved my outfit the best.
And you had skin.
You know, you look around, you're like, oh my God, I love that person's outfit. I love no.
Hey, what were the dudes wearing? It's dead serious
so
question.
The young, cute guy was wearing a hoodie.
With what? Jeans? What kind of shoes?
It's like I couldn't see down.
You know, I had to Google what kids wear. Like, what do teenagers wear? I'm like, what do teenagers actually wear? Because Max needs summer clothes because we're going away. And I'm like, what do...
I literally was like teen boy shorts.
What is that?
I think the boy was wearing jeans, a hoodie, and then the older men, they were
Button-down shirt with a white shirt underneath.
I don't know about the white shirt, but definitely a button-down shirt and pants, shirt tucked in. And then
that's how you know how old you are.
And then there was like the cool guy with the cool jacket, and he didn't take his jacket off, so his jacket was definitely part of his style.
Yeah, you do that too. Your jacket. You know, you're gonna wear like your bomber jacket.
I didn't even realize when I wore my feather jacket out. They're like, you're like sexy big bird, because I'd never worn it out.
Oh, that's not what you were going for. But okay, sexy big bird is.
Okay. My friend said that.
Sexy big bird. Didn't know sexy big bird went hand in hand.
So sexy big bird.
As moms, and this is the Monday parenting. If you know what teenagers wear these days and who look good, like, just curious.
I know you have to think of someone that you trust, who's on top of it with style, whose style sort of matches your kid's style.
It has to be it has to be a teenager.
Yeah, and it also has to be a budget that you two share. So you have to have a budget in common, a kind of a style of a kid in common, and she needs to know where to shop. That's a lot of things.
And where to shop. Have. And you know, Max is a men's large now.
Whoa,
men's large.
And your husband's what? XL?
Yeah, but I'm assuming brands fit differently. Mm-hmm. It's got to be right.
Yeah, no,
because
my
he's
son,
tall. I mean, he's like over 5'10".
Yeah.
So it's this.
It's the arm span.
So maybe like this way is a bit wide, but like he's. Mm-hmm. I can't go smaller. It's just not going to fit him unless he's done growing.
Mm. Wouldn't that be nice? You don't have to buy anything ever again. That's what I keep thinking is like, do I want to invest in anything? They're just going to outgrow it anyways.
I know. The girls are done it so nice. I was thinking that. I'm
they've
like,
been done for so long.
Like, feet aren't, remember I told you this? I'm like, if their feet aren't growing, they have the same shoes year after year. Yeah. Olivia's had her winter coat for 3 years. Yeah. I'm like, this is amazing.
It is really great. Our girls stopped a long time ago. Thank you, ladies.
It is so, the everything just fits.
Yeah.
She has jean shorts from grade 7.
Yes.
I'm like, this.
Yeah, it's
great. Damn dream.
Yeah.
The little one hasn't gone through a growth spurt in a long time either, because I mean, I haven't bought her shoes. I don't even know what she's doing. Maybe they don't fit. I should probably check. But
that's what happens to me. We check that little boy and we're like, oh my gosh, there's a hole in the toe of your shoe because your toes are coming up because the shoes don't fit. Thanks for telling us.
Max is done. I'm actually done feeding you. I'm done buying you clothes. I'm done buying you shoes. You gotta slow down. How big is your oldest's feet? Boy.
He is depending on the brand, a 10.5 or 11. But the husband's 13, so we'll see, because he's definitely still growing that one.
Yeah.
I mean, our girls have the same size feet too. That's so weird.
I know.
That's weird. Our daughters have the same size feet.
I know.
You know, I don't have the same size feet.
No. Well, now your feet shrunk.
Mine's shrinking. I can wear 7s now. Yeah. 10.5, 11, and doesn't feel like we're done.
No. I don't know when boys stop. Boy puberty is the weirdest shit. When do they get hair on their chest?
I never thought about that.
Yeah.
Oh my God. That must come after kids.
I don't think so.
Oh my God, a chestibule hair?
I don't know.
Oh my
Like-
God, that's got to come. Do guys have? Yes.
Like, think about dark like hair. Like, it's got it, like, the hair, like,
Oh my God, I got to ask. Now, you know what? Now I've got to start saying, let's check the chest. I'll have to ask our husbands when they started getting chest hair.
because even a few nipple hairs come in. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
just a few hairs, like, that very few people have nothing. Like, they shave, whatever.
Like,
A few, like, sprouts come.
And guys in college, if they have chest hair, like, it's hard. Like, there was guys. Oh, we didn't go to parties. Like, we had parties like college guys with no shirts on pool parties. Did they ever have chest hair?
I mean, I never went to a college pool party. Did you go to a college pool party?
Never. But I mean, like, when you went to a pool party with guys of college age,
I don't remember. I feel like
think about camp when those guys were probably in grade-
yeah. I feel like I should look at the camp pictures. I feel like a lot of them shave them though now with all these manscapes
Back
everywhere.
then, I don't remember chest.
No,
on guys'
there
hair.
was hair. I
Oh,
remember.
there was
Yeah,
hair.
I do remember. Because some of them look like men, but they were like 18, 19.
Yeah.
You know, some of them look like old men.
yeah,
you know,
yeah,
some
yeah,
men like,
yeah.
look
Yeah.
old. Like they even
Yeah.
start losing hair quite young.
Yeah.
You know those people?
Yes, I know those people.
I'll ask my brothers, when did you get chest hair? That's
Yeah.
that's appropriate.
Yeah. I don't even know if my brothers have chest hair. I've never seen chest hair from them.
You better ask. Ask your mom.
Yeah, because my husband has chest hair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to ask him when his came.
Okay.
They must have known I've got chest hair.
Okay.
Do you want chest hair as a man?
It's weird, right? I love no chest hair on a man.
Men are like, I got some chest hair.
I don't know.
Like, that'll put hair on your chest. You know that saying? Drink a little whiskey. That'll put some hair on your chest. Why? I don't want hair on my chest.
And you know, some guys have patchy chest hair.
I'm not versed in the hairs of the chest, but okay, patchy chest hair. Okay. Yeah, we have some deep diving to do, guys. Chest hair. But yes, definitely like dark like hair.
Mm-hmm.
Then what happens? Face hair? What does it go dark? Like there's some kids who shave in grade 10. Does P shave?
Oh, yes.
Chest hair?
Not to be seen,
Oh,
but it could be shaved.
We should ask. Inappropriate.
Okay.
You can't ask, but inappropriate question. Okay. But ask, do your friends
Yeah.
have chest hair?
Mm-hmm.
Is chest hair a thing in high school?
Oh, you know who would know.
Who?
Our coworker, whose kids are older. Thank you.
We're gonna get on the horn and we're gonna let you know about chest hair. In case you're one or all of them with kids at home, we're like, chest hair happens at 16.
Yeah.
What?
And I guess it depends on your cultural background.
I guess so. Oof. And shaving. At what age? So he shaves his face.
Oh, yeah.
When did that happen?
That one must have been an early.
Like, give me a grade.
I'm going to guess 10? 9.
9.
I feel like the brother does.
Can you get a beard? Does he ever have a beard?
Doesn't have, but I think he could get it.
Okay. When does that happen? You are lucky because would you get them like a razor set? Do you teach them how to shave?
I think that their dad should, because we don't know how to shave our face. We would just send them to
Sorry.
We would just send them to Haley.
We shave our faces regularly. Don't even. We'll give them like the good, nice razor. Like, go like this. Put some oil on your face and just salsa. Okay.
I hate a rough face.
I know you do. Okay, we got so much boy puberty work to do.
Guys,
Okay, bye,
thanks
guys.
for joining us.